Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 10 grade 9 math. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 9 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with chapter statistics. And the lessons we're going to cover today are identify bias samples, identify an outlier and describe the effect of removing it, identify an outlier, interpret a scatter plot, match correlation coefficients to scatter plots. So let's just start with the first lesson, that is identify biased samples. So what are the identify biased sample? What are the biased samples? Okay. So what is biased sample? What do you know about the biased sample? Biased sample refers to a situation. You can know. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Biased sample refers to a situation in which the research sample favors a certain group of people. That is the biased sample, right? A sample that doesn't accurately reflect all members of the population, right? Okay, that is the definition of the biased sample, right? Let's just do some of the examples so that it would be more clear what is the biased sample, right? Okay, let's just start with examples. Okay, so for example, the question is Dean pooled 200 people throughout each city in his country. Each city is the same size. Is this sample of the residents of city in the country likely to be biased? So, throughout the city, he pooled just 200 peoples, right? Let me write down the question on the board. Dean pooled 200 people throughout the city. So, you need to see if this given sample is the Biased sample. This is not the biased sample, right? Because the each city is the same size, right? So because the residents are divided into equal sized and then choose an equal number of residents from each city, so that would be representative data, that isn't the biased data, right? Okay, let's just do some examples from A plus. Okay, here it is, identify biased data. Okay, Elizabeth pooled the first 72 attendees at a concert, right? Is the sample is this sample of the concert attendees likely to be biased? So you need to see if the attendees are biased. So she just selected 72 attendees, right? So it is, since the first attendees might not be similar to the other attendees, it is likely to be biased sample, right? Okay, then other example is Bob surveyed the first two shops at the market. Okay, okay. Bob surveyed the first two shoppers at the market. Is this sample of the shoppers at the market likely to be biased? So, since shoppers who arrive early might not be the same as shoppers who arrive late, it is likely to be biased sample, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay. Joseph put the names of all the students in the school into a hat. Then he took 50 names out of that hat. Is this sample of students in the school likely to be biased? So, so he just put 50 names, right? So every name has an equal number of chances to be selected, right? So that means that is the biased data. The correct option is no, that isn't the biased, right? That is just the random, because he selected 750 names out of all the students in the school, right? So that means it is just a random sample. It is not likely to be biased, right? The correct option is no. Okay, for this one, no, it is random samples, not the biased samples. Okay, the next one is to review for the final. Irma did 7 random problems from each assignment in her class. Each assignment had an equal number of problems. Is this sample of the problems assigned in the class likely to be biased? Which is the correct option? In a biased sample, some people or item are more likely to be chosen than others, right? So, Irma divided the problems into equal size groups by assignment and then chose an equal number of problems from each assignment. So, it is representative data, it is not to be a likely, that would be the representative data. So, the correct option is no. Okay, Jaffrey surveyed 307 business owners in the city. Is this sample of people in the city likely to be biased? Which is the correct option? Yes, because maybe 307 business owners are not the same like the others. So the correct option is yes, right? Okay, the next one is Elizabeth polled the first 72 attendees at a concert. Is this sample of the concert attendees likely to be biased? Which is the correct option? Yes, because maybe the first attendees might not be similar to the other attendees, right? So it is likely to be biased sample. The correct option is yes. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify an outlier and describe the effect of removing it. Let me just see if it is the okay. Yes, identify an outlier and describe the effect of removing it. Okay, so what is outlier? What do you know about an outlier? Outlier, right? Outlier means the number that is abnormal, right? If a value has, that is the definition, you can write down definition. If a value has a high enough or low enough z-score, it can be considered as outlier, right? Like that means that is an abnormal value, right? If that means the value is abnormal, either it is too high ac- according to the rest of the data, or either it is too low. For example, you have in a group of 5 students, the test grades were 9, 8, 9, 7, and 2. So here you can see 2 is the outlier. Why? Because all the numbers are 9, 8, and 7, but 2 is the very small, right? The last value seems to be an outlier because it falls below the main pattern of the other grade. So 2 is the outlier. Either it is too low or too high according to the rest of the data, right? Okay, let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, okay, let's just read here. An outlier is an extreme value. Here is select the outlier in the data. 43, 53, 55, 56, 74, 78, 84, and 504, right? So you can see here all the numbers are below 100, right? Other rather than 504. This is the only number that is in hundreds. The rest of the numbers are less than 100. So that is the outlier, that is high enough value. Got it? Okay, let's just see. An outlier is an extreme value in a data set that is either much larger or much smaller than all the other values. Got it? There is no specific formula defining outliers. However, they are still important to understand when performing a statistical analysis. Just one outlier can have a drastic effect on certain numbers calculated from the dataset, such as the mean or standard deviation. Got it? So if you have a very high outlier and very low values, that would change the mean or standard deviation, right? So you can see here 504. If 504 is removed from the data, the rest of the smaller values would remain. If you calculate the mean of these smaller values, you will find it to be less than the original mean, right? So removing outlier causes the mean to decrease, because here you have 504, a large enough number, right? So if you remove 504, that means the mean of the given data would be decreased, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, select the outlier in the data set: 8, 66, 68, 79, 83, 85, 87, 97. If the outlier were removed from the data set, would the mean increase or decrease? So first identify the outlier. Which is the outlier in the data set? 8 is the mean in the given data, right? Because you can see the other numbers are two-digit numbers. 8 is the number that is smaller than the all the numbers. So because 8 is a smaller number, if you remove the 8, the mean of the data is increased, right? Because you're removing a small number. So the mean would be increase. If the outlier is small number, so when you remove the outlier, the mean of the data is increased. Got it? Because you're removing a smaller number. Okay, select an outlier in the given data. If the outlier were removed from the data set, would the mean increase or decrease? So which is the correct option? 5, 74, 76, 79, 86, 93, 94, 96, and 99. Which is the mean value in the data? Sorry, which is the outlier? 5 is the outlier, right? The rest of the numbers are two-digit numbers. Only 5 is the outlier, and outlier is a smaller number, right? So when you remove outlier, the mean of the data would be increased because you have removed a small number. So when removing outlier, the mean is increased. Select the outlier in the given data set: 17, 25, 37, 47, 54, 60, 78, and 216. If the outlier were removed from the dataset, would the mean increase or decrease? So which is the correct option? Which is outlier? 216 is the outlier, right? That is large enough than the other numbers, right? So when you remove 216, because 216 is a very big number, the mean is decrease, right? When removing the big number, the mean is decreased. Got it? That would be decrease. Select the outlier in the given dataset: 45, 55, 65, 70, 71, 74, 86, and 9, 86, 92, and 567. If the outlier were removed from the dataset, would the mean increase or decrease? $567 is the outlier, and that is a big number than the other values. So when you remove a big outlier, that will decrease the mean. The correct option is decrease. The correct option is decrease. Select the outlier in the data set. 12, 15, 17, 33, 71, 82, 92, and 544. If the outlier were removed from the dataset, would the mean increase or decrease? The outlier is 544, right? Then if you remove 544, the mean is decreased. The correct option is decreased, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. That is identify an outlier. Okay, select the outlier in the dataset 10, 14, 18, 23, 35, 37, 42, 56, and 763. Which is the outlier? Very good. The correct option is 763, right? That is the extreme value. You can see all the other values are two-digit numbers. Only 763 is a three-digit number, and that is in 700s. The other values are less than 100. So that is an extreme value, that is 763. Very good. Select the outlier in the dataset, which is the correct option. The correct option is which is the correct option? Very good. That would be 663, right? The correct option is 663. Select the outlier in the dataset. 62, 69, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 77, and 215. So which is the outlier? That is 215, right? The correct option is 215. Select the outlier in the dataset, which is the correct option. Yes, the correct option is 282. Select the outlier in the dataset, which is the correct option. The correct option is very good. That would be 834, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to the next lesson. Okay, the next one is interpret a scatter plot. So, what do you know about scatter plot? The scatter plot look like this. You have that is a relationship between two variables x and y, and it look like this. The data is represented by the dots on the graph, right? That is the scatter plot, right? You can note down the definition. A scatter plot identifies a possible relationship between changes observed in different two different sets in of variable. That is the definition of the scatter plot. You can note down the definition. Okay, let's see the practice questions on A plus, right? Interpret a scatter plot. Okay. Does the scatter plot show a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Okay, positive trend means you have to draw a best fit line, right? The line best fit lines of the data, and you have to see if the values x values are increasing and y values are also increasing. Here is the a scatter plot shows a positive trend if y tends to an increase as x increases. If the x values are increasing, the y values are also increasing. That means that is a positive trend, right? And a scatter plot shows a negative trend if the y tends to decrease as x increases. That shows the negative trend. And a graph shows no trend if there is no obvious pattern, right? So as x increases, y also increases. That means the graph has the positive trend, right? Just look at this graph. Here is x values growing 2, 4, 6. When x is 2, the y is less than 2. When x is 4, y is around 4. When x is 6, the value is 8. X is 7, y is 9. That means as x increases, the y is also increasing. So that shows the positive trend, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay. Does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Which is the correct option? Just identify the relationship between x and y values, right? See, as x values are increasing, the y values are also increasing, right? That would be the positive trend. Okay. The, does this scatter plot show a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Which is the correct option? Just look at the x values. When x is 2, y is 6. When x is 4, y is 5. When x is 10, y is 4. That means the values are decreasing, right? As x increases, the values of y are decreasing. So that would be the negative trend. Negative trend, right? Okay. The next one is, does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Which is the correct option? Just see the relationship between the x and y variable, right? You can see as x increases, y values are decreasing, right? When x is 1, y is 10. When x is 10, y is 4. That means when x increases, y is decreasing. That shows the negative trend, right? The correct option is negative trend. Does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? That shows positive trend. The correct option is positive trend. Does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? And I think this shows no trend. Positive trend it is. Yes, that would be positive trend. The correct option is positive trend. Does this scatter plot shows positive trend, negative trend, or no trend? Which is the correct option? You can see the graph are scattered, right? X is 10, Y is 7 or 8. That means the graph shows no trend. The correct option is no trend. Because if you make a line of best fit, the points are too scattered. They do not fit on any line. Does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? The graph shows the positive trend. The correct option is positive. Does the scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? This one shows no trend. Positive trend it is, right? Correct option is positive trend. Okay, does this scatter plot shows a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? Very good. That shows no trend. The correct option is no trend. Does this scatter plot show a positive trend, a negative trend, or no trend? This one shows negative trend because the x value is increasing, y values are decreasing, right? Okay, we're done with the lesson. So we are working on grade 9 math. The chapter we're working on is statistics, grade 9 maths. The lessons we have covered today are identified by samples, identify an outlier and describe the effect of removing it, identify an outlier and interpret a scatter plot, right? So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday 5 to 9, or either you can join me in the interactive session that would be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10, right? So if you have any question, you can please ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Please ask questions if you have any. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.